All right, let's be serious. For all those who thought Donald Trump was going to win Wisconsin, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You think a guy that was endorsed by Scott Walker is going to win Wisconsin, you have another thing coming. I'm sorry, but I told you earlier, it wasn't happening. Trump was not going to win over Wisconsin. We are like way too fed up with people like Trump running the government and shit. Because we already have a guy like that. That's Scott Walker. Look what he's done. We're way too fed up with him. People only voted for Ted Cruz, I feel like, just because they didn't want Trump to win Wisconsin. And that's pretty much it. I can't see another reason why Ted Cruz would have actually won if it had not come to that. That and people realize fucking Trump is like a fucking yo-yo. Ugh. Finally, you fuckers finally realize this guy's a fucking yo-yo. He's always up and down. He's always doing every little thing. He just contradicts himself time and time again. This guy is gonna run for president, guys. And you can say, well, that's why people like him. He's just learning as he goes along. No. No. No, 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 no. You see, as a president of the United States, you don't just kind of flow everything out there in the wind and just kind of leave it up to the things. I don't care that he's politically incorrect. What I care about is we have a guy that's racist, not full-on racist, but he's racist at times, definitely racist. Doesn't know when to shut his mouth and will say the most absurd shit, like, let's get rid of national debt. You can't get rid of national debt. I'm not even going to speak about that anymore. It's fucking stupid how people think you can actually get rid of the national debt. They're talking about the yearly national debt that goes into that national debt. You can't get rid of national debt as a whole. Oh, God. The stupidity of the people these days. Particularly Trump supporters. People are asked, why do they like Donald Trump? And when they're asked that, they're just like, I don't know, he's a businessman, something, just whatever. They don't actually name any politics. Do you realize that? Is that not scary to you? That people just like this guy just because he's rich? This tells you one thing. Either Trump can be bought, or he can't be. He probably can be bought, guys. I mean, sure, he's a billionaire. That does not mean he can't be bought. The Republican Party hates Trump because he's saying what they don't want him to say, because that's how the Republican Party feels. Everything Trump is saying, that's how Ted Cruz feels. He's just not saying it directly. He's putting in his own little cryptic words because that's what the Republican Party wants. That's why they hate Trump. Same thing with why the Democratic Party hates Bernie Sanders, is because Bernie Sanders cannot be bought. He does not want the people to keep suffering through this kind of bullshit that we've had to suffer through for so long. And he, unlike Hillary Clinton, will not let, all these big companies kind of keep fucking everybody over until everyone's fucking dead. But see, the problem with Trump is Trump's making these things on the rise. And I'm glad Bernie Sanders beat Hillary Clinton in Wisconsin today. I guess I could say now I'm a little bit more glad Ted Cruz actually beat Trump, because this at least would make Trump, this now makes it a 50-50 chance who's going to win the Republican nominee, which I don't care who does. I hope they both go down when it comes down to it. But Trump, okay, the scary thing about Trump is right now America's turning into 1930 Germany, where you're seeing groups like the KKK, you're seeing groups like white nationalists, white supremacy, and all these things that weren't really, hugely involved. They weren't actually like these huge things anymore. They used to be these badass groups. They kind of turned into more of a just kind of background that does a lot of hate crimes, but, they weren't really hugely active. Well, Normally the Republican Party uses these, like, racist people. They normally use these guys to try and get their vote, and then, but the problem with these guys is these guys and women, so I'm not called sexist. The problem with these people are they don't shut the fuck up when you actually don't do what they want. So they want America to be white. Well, when the Republican Party doesn't even attempt that, they get pissed. Obviously, they just used you. You dumb fucks never realized that. You Republican fans never realized that. And same thing with the Democrats. You never realize why they want people like Hillary Clinton, because she can just be bought off. She can be bought off by the Republicans. She can be bought off by anybody. And it gets them all the more money. They don't like Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders is not like... He doesn't want these corporations. He's actually making laws against corporations. He's making laws that people have been screaming for years. The government doesn't want to give it to them because, hey, they want the money. They think the system's fine the way it is and just needs a little bit twerking. See, what they want to do with people like Hillary Clinton is to kind of keep making steps in the right direction a little bit at a time. And then, when it's like freaking the year 80,001, America will be like the best country ever. Otherwise, we're going to take very slow strides to becoming a good country, or at least fixing the problems that are in this good country. Because this is still a good country. It's just, you got to fix the problems that the government system has. But again, Trump, he started something interesting. White nationalists are now making headlines. Again, it's scary because this is what happened with 1930 Germany, where, and my friend called it. My friend called it years ago. He already knew who Donald Trump was. I didn't really, but my friend called it. He said Trump's kind of reminds me of a 1930 Germany, where, or at least the Republican Party is where they kind of start hyping into all these KKK. They start feeding into those guys and saying, oh yeah, you guys are right. White is the only right. If you are not white, you shall be killed, kind of thing. And us white people will go bomb everyone in the Middle East. We'll go kill everyone in Mexico. We will make white the only race. We'll genocide everything else. And they're feeding into those guys, right? Right? My friend called this. He called this 2 years ago. He's like, that is legitimately what 1930 Germany did. And that's what kind of led into Hitler and shit. Because then Hitler comes along, and instead of just putting all these messages like, oh yeah, we're going to massacre everyone that's not white, in these little cryptic clues, he just comes out and says it. Trump doesn't really come out and say it. However, he comes out and makes it look like, yeah, we need to get these Mexicans, they need to be taught a lesson. So the Muslims, we need to bomb the shit out of every single Muslim, even the innocent ones. We got to kill their families. We got to kill their kids. We got to kill every innocent Muslim too. Again, 1930 Germany's shit. Where all these and then now you have people like the KKK. They're coming back stronger than ever. White nationalists, white supremacists. That is scary. That is legitimately 1930 Germany and what had led into Hitler. And people wonder why Donald Trump is compared to Hitler. Guys, you really need to wake up and realize that this is not a joke anymore. The similarities are real. I am not saying Donald Trump is Hitler. Do not get me wrong, but I'm trying to tell you there are reasons why people are saying that, and there's reasons why a lot of people don't. They're scared because the similarities are just too coincidental. This is legitimately what happened in 1930 Germany, and my friend called it 2 years ago. He said it, and I swear I wish I would have believed him, but it's legitimately what happened. He was like, all these racist political groups that weren't truly that active before start coming back up again, and and even neo-Nazis are coming back. All these political groups started coming up again that they were racist and they weren't really around before. They were kind of disbanded, they were low in numbers, and they just did hate crimes, but they were never truly becoming threats again or anything. Well, now all these political groups are coming back even stronger than ever, and it's scary if you're not white, I guess. It really is. I thank God that I live in the community that I do, that is not full of racism The community that I do live in is a very good community, and it's actually where, it's a community where the white people, it's a more popular white person area, but they don't shun you if you're not white. Kind of, that's what I think the heavens that I live in the place I do, because I would be scared of all hell living in somewhere else right now. From what I'm pretty much hearing and gathering from my research and what my friend said, he said it's exactly what happened with 1930 Germany, and that led into Hitler, and that led into everything else that, the rest of the story. So would Donald Trump massacre and try to commit genocide on the Mexicans or Muslims? I don't think so. But the similarities are way too real. He's uniting the people against, Hitler made people hate the Jews. People hate Jews. People still hate Jews, but people hate Mexicans in the United States because they think they're the ones ruining everything. In reality, it's like Bernie Sanders said, it's the system as well. You can't just kick out the Mexicans and expect everything to go back to normal. It's also this system. This system is very just trashy. We need corporate leaders that cannot be bought. We don't need a guy like Trump who can't be bought, but is so crazy to the point where it's just fucking unreal how crazy he actually is. There comes a time between being politically incorrect and just being flat out crazy. No one wants to hear a guy who could be president of the United States saying, "I'm gonna go bomb any country that does anything that makes me mad." No one wants to hear that. That's like a 7th grader would say, "Let's just go bomb them." It's that simple. No one wants to hear you talking about how you're gonna massacre innocent civilians. Or how, if Muslims go to Paris, you will nuke Paris. No one wants to hear you talking like that. I don't care if you're joking. That is a fucking scary thought for anyone that's in, Paris, obviously. Oh my god, is he really gonna nuke us if we let Muslims in? And he's like, well, I actually don't know. Maybe I'll nuke him. No, I won't nuke him. I can check it out. Maybe I will nuke him. He flip-flops and he's like a yo-yo. And look at all the things that have happened with Donald Trump. And I'm not just saying white people are even being bad right now. You got black people stepping on the American flag because they feel like Donald Trump would treat them as fairly. You got Mexican people making, all these things. You got people in the streets yelling, Donald Trump sucks, in many areas. But it's not because they don't like Donald Trump. It's because they feel threatened. And that's not a good thing. You don't want the country being divided. That's what made us weak in the first place. Is everything being divided and segregated. And that's what allowed our political leaders that are so corrupt to take over our minds in the first place. They used the racism, the fear, and the fascistness in everyone to take control of everyone. And that's what happened. And that's what has started even a civil war, is the racism and fascism, everyone being controlled by a certain government. And then when finally, when a person like Bernie Sanders steps up and says, you guys are uniting against the wrong enemy. You need to unite against our actual corporate leaders that are so corrupt and trying to teach you these Mexicans are bad, or anyone who's not white is bad, or anyone who's not black is bad. You need to actually unite with those black people. You need to unite with those white people. You need to unite with those Mexicans and face the corporate leaders that are rolling in on your pain and misery and telling you to go take it out on the other citizens. And then that led into a civil war, like Abraham Lincoln. I mean, contexts were a little bit different, where he wanted to abolish slavery. The government didn't want to have any of that bullshit, but he fought until the very end. But again, when you say Trump is an authoritarian, and you don't even know what that word means, please look it up. An authoritarian is like a guy like Hitler, a dictator. They're known for committing terrorisms, everything, and tyrannies. If you think you like an authoritarian, we are in trouble, and we'll be making enemies real fucking quick, because an authoritarian is not a good figure for America.